everyone, and welcome back to Pima Voices. My name is Savannah, and I'll be your host. Today, I am sitting down with Professor Greg Watson, who is lead on the new Entrepreneurship Certificate program here at Pima Community College, and today we're going to be exploring all things business. How are you today, Greg?
I'm wonderful. It's great to be with you, Savannah. I love Pima Community College, and I love our programs and our students. Are we having fun today?
Yes, we're having so much fun today. And I know this is going to be a great topic because you're a master at this topic. You know everything about it. And it's super exciting because as someone who's like an artist and who's always seeking like entrepreneurship programs and ideas and how to like better myself as an entrepreneur, like this is awesome. And so I can't wait to delve into it. But before we do that, why don't you give us a little bit background about yourself, who you are, and how'd you end up here at the college?
Well, the background starts to when I was a college student, because as a freshman, I thought I had my life planned out. I thought I was heading to finish my bachelor's degree and straight to law school. But I started a business my very first year in college. I started a payroll processing business right out of my dorm room. And so I accidentally became an entrepreneur, and that changed my life entirely. And so I became an entrepreneur at a very, very young age, and I've never looked back. And by the way, I didn't make it to law school, no matter how much I ever wanted to.
We don't have to tell anyone.
But because of that journey, it has given me a passion about serving customers and really understanding what the customer pain point, what the customer problem really was, and how do we create solutions that the customer really wants. Not a solution that we have, but understanding truly with empathy, what is the pain, the problem that the customer is experiencing, and how do we find out and discover the solution that the customer wants? And then can we create a solution that they're willing to pay for? Mm-hmm. And that's all business really is. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. And when you think about that customer discovery process, that is what is so simple, but so exciting and fun. And for me, that's what entrepreneurship is about. And if we can teach that empathy, teach that compassion, we can solve all the problems of the world. And that's just an incredibly fun journey to take students on.
It also can be a little difficult, right? I always feel like the number one rule in like business and marketing is what problem are you solving for the customer, right? So what are we solving? Which can sometimes be difficult of an idea to get started off with. But like you said, it's all about empathy and understanding and figuring out who that customer base is and everything else. And so what do you think is going to be really exciting about this entrepreneurship certificate program? Because it also leads to an AA, is that correct?
It does. And so we have an embedded entrepreneurship certificate that's part of our business program. So you can take the certificate and it's part of the associate's degree or part of our transfer program. So if you want to take it, we have a lot of students that take it because they think, someday I might be interested in starting a business and I wonder what I need to know about. And so you might be taking the certificate just because you think you might be interested in starting a business. So you're not taking it really from launching a business perspective, but you're taking it more from that academic theory perspective, and that's perfectly okay. But right beside you, someone is going to be sitting in that classroom thinking, you know what, I've got this great idea. How do I start the business and how do I go about launching a company? And so we get students from all paths, all interests, all desires at all levels in our entrepreneurship courses. And that's a good example because students then get to approach it from their path, their perspective, their place in life, but they also get to observe students that are at a different stage of their entrepreneurial journey. And that is a good balance that we get to place in our students. And I think it's perfectly appropriate to have students at different points in their journey.
Yeah, I mean, what's great about that is people can connect and thrive with other students who kind of have the same mindset, same journey. And then that's the beauty of like being in those classes where you kind of like find your niche is like everyone can bounce ideas off each other. You can pick each other's brain and like really figure out exactly like what is the problem that we're solving in our entrepreneurship journey. And so that's always like the fun part about classes like that is when you are with like-minded individuals. I feel like that's when the magic like really, really happens. And I'm sure you've been in classes where like an idea comes out and then everyone's just like bouncing things off of each other and that energy is like electric.
Well, it's really the power, the exponential power of a team because we're so much stronger together. When we really want to know what the real definition of diversity is, it's the exponential power of all the different mindsets, all the different perspectives. And so you've got such a powerful team when you're in part of a class, because you've not only got your own ideas, but you've got all the different feedback and all the different perspectives and values of all of your fellow classmates. And that's like a built-in testing lab. And so you get the value of all of the diversity of the ideas, experiences, because at Pima Community College, we're not this single solitary demographic group or age group. We've got students of all different ages, all different perspectives, all different backgrounds, and that makes our classes really fun, really exciting, and the perfect lab for exploring ideas.
Yeah, it's almost like a giant test group.
It really is. It's phenomenal.
And what do you think are some of the skills like that students, like obviously they come in with certain skills, but what do you think are the skills that are needed to help develop that they endure during taking these sort of business courses?
Well, I'm a hardcore believer that we have to learn empathy. And when I say learn, it's because an awful lot of times we as a society tend to think about ourselves first. And so an awful lot of weaknesses that entrepreneurs tend to suffer from is that they think that I've got this great idea. And the real power of entrepreneurship is understanding what is the customer's problem, what does the customer want to have solved. And so empathy is one of the most important skill sets that we have to learn. We call it the entrepreneurial mindset, but a big part of that mindset is understanding what the customer wants, what the customer's problem, their real pain is, and what is the underlying cause that's contributing to that. And when we can understand what the customer is experiencing, what the customer is feeling, then we can start to empathize with them and figure out what is the solution that they think is ideal, that they think is perfect. And that's not necessarily the ideal solution that we think is the perfect solution, but what is the solution that the customer wants? And when we go on that journey with the customer, we create that perfect solution that then the customer is willing to pay for. And that's what makes a business profitable, that not only allows us to create a profit for the business, but allows us to pay customers, make contributions to the community, pay taxes, and we get to contribute to all of our stakeholders and improve society.
I mean, you said it so well. Thinking about when you come up with an idea, sometimes as like the inventor, I guess you could say, you have like such a special place in your heart for this thing, and you're just like, you want it to work so bad, and you're like, you think it's a great idea, but sometimes it's like, no, it's a great idea for you, but maybe not for like other people. So it's hard to pull yourself away from that. And then you're right. Yeah, a good entrepreneur should know like either this is going to work or it isn't. And having to separate those two, I think, is a really big step for someone who wants to like be an entrepreneur. Because I've been there, like when I make clothes and things like that, I'm like, I love it. But does everyone else love it? Probably not, So sometimes it does happen like that.
Well, that's what we have to explore, is that do those other people love it? Because sometimes our ideas will be wonderful and sometimes they won't. The horrible statistic out there is, depending upon what the source that you want to cite, is that 70 to 90% of businesses fail after 3 to 5 years. But what the statistic that people don't know about is that of the businesses that actually succeed, a huge percentage of them have pivoted products within 4 years, because they're not selling the product that they actually started out with. They're pivoting to what the customer actually wants. And so even the businesses that have survived have figured out that the product that they started with wasn't the product that the customer wanted, and they had to pivot to the product that the customer actually wanted.
And utilizing that feedback.
Yes. And so we're constantly needing to start from this foundational viewpoint of what does the customer actually want and what is the problem that they're seeking to be solved. And that's the foundational concept that we try to teach our students for success.
And so like, obviously there's a lot of entrepreneurship classes and business classes like all over the internet, like, right? So like everyone's starting their own business and this and that nowadays, and it seems so easy. So why is it so important to maybe like have students enroll in this sort of certificate program and maybe go on to the AA with business? Like, what makes this so much better than having someone just like log in online and do like a master class or something?
So there's a lot of different types of approaches towards learning, and there's some people that are just wonderful self-starters and they can just take the initiative and they can go start. And then there's others that need just a little bit more hand-holding. And we provide that structured support system when we can walk you sequentially through an exploration process and sequentially through what questions do I need to ask and what questions do I need to go discover. And so when we walk a person through A through Z, we're basically taking them through the entire steps and the sequential process of how do I do that customer discovery? How do I do that customer validation? How do I make sure that this is a good idea so that my business is being set up for success? And can they do that by themselves? Can they go to one place and get a masterclass, little 2-hour workshop course where they tell you the theory, but then they don't actually give you the practice tools to help you succeed? Well, we're going to give you the theory, we're going to give you the practice tools, and we're going to let you apply them, and we're going to give you feedback, and we're going to hold your hand while we help you do it.
I like some of that.
And so we give you that helping hand up to take you through the processes, and whether you're wanting to launch today or whether you think that you want to launch sometime in the future, we're going to give you that guiding hand and that helping hand all the way through that process so that you get as much help as you want or as little help as you want, depending upon your launching time. And that's the benefit that we give the student that wants that little bit more structured sequential process. Otherwise, people are going, I have to go here to get this help, and then I have to go find another organization that can help me with marketing, and I have to go find another organization that can help me with finance, and I have to go to find another organization that can help me with legal, and I have to go find another organization. And it's this hodgepodge. We have this great entrepreneurial ecosystem of support out here, and we can guide students to those appropriate support structures, or we can try to guide them through figuring and working through those solutions in our courses. And the self-starter, maybe they can figure that out on their own, or they miss a few and they get lost and they fail. And that's so often is what happens, is a lot of people miss a step and they get lost and fail, or they just stumble and they stop and they just give up.
And being on campus, there's also resources here on like West Campus and things like that, right? That have like an office for entrepreneurship. So if someone did want to take that next step, there are other resources that you could guide them to, correct?
Lots of resources on campus and lots of resources throughout the community that we have contacts and connections with that we can get students connected with. So I had a team that wanted to launch a sports beverage. And how do you create the canning machine to actually manufacture and produce that sports beverage? That's a pretty significant challenge. And a lot of students that wanted to launch a business, they don't know how to find those connections. And a lot of times we can introduce them to a contract manufacturer that can produce and manufacture a short run. You said that you were interested in fashion. Well, there's a great fashion boutique here in town that actually runs a fashion lab, and they will do short manufacturing production runs. And so we can help students get connected with how do we create a short run manufacturing. And if you produce this great, clothing design, a lot of people don't realize that when you create that clothing design, if you want to take it to a manufacturer, we have to produce patterns in every single size.
Tech packs, all that stuff. Yep.
Yes. So the process gets pretty sophisticated. And so we can help a student walk through all of those steps to get a product manufacturing ready, not only marketing ready, but manufacturing ready. And we can help connect them to the manufacturers and the producers if they don't want to produce it in-house. And we can make all of those, help them make those connections.
Well, that's great. See, that's like a huge benefit of being here on campus. And I know the certificate can be done fully online if needed as well, but like you guys are able to provide the resources that they need from like beginning to end, and then for them to continue their journey if needed. And so I think that's probably like the biggest thing that sets it apart, right? Is being a part of that community of the college and other students, and that hive and that hub of just like entrepreneurship mindset. So that's great. And so was there anything else before we end our session today that you wanted to tag on to what we've discussed at all about the certificate or just entrepreneurship in general?
Well, it's great being part of an academic community where you're going to be surrounded with people that are going to support you and tell you that it is possible for you to pursue your dreams. Because so often we have people that tell us, that's probably not realistic. You should just go get a job. And I've lived a life as a serial entrepreneur, and I really want to encourage people to follow not only their dreams, but pursue their passions and their beliefs and desires as well. And here in our academic environment, we're going to surround you with people that are going to give you both a realistic view, but also give you the support and the encouragement that tells you that this is actually a possibility. And let's just walk you through the realistic, real world rational steps of what it takes to actually accomplish that dream, but it is possible.
I love that. I feel like sometimes it's really difficult to like really take that step and want to endure like a business class or an entrepreneurship class and like really kind of put yourself forward to like put an idea out there into the world. And like you said, people can kind of beat you down sometimes, and like I always say they're just jealous, right? And so leave them behind, like who cares? But I love that the support that you guys can offer here within the business program overall at Pima. And it sounds like your classes are really fun. I'm sure everyone else's classes are really fun, really engaging. And so thank you so much for coming in and talking to me about things today. I'm sure we could talk so much more. And I would love to. So maybe we'll have a part 2 someday.
Thank you. That'd be great. But I work with a great department and a great team. We have a really wonderful group of faculty.
Well, I'm super excited to see this certificate take off, and I'm sure it's going to totally kind of just take in a bunch of students and do really well, because I feel like this is something that's really needed in our community. And so I'm really excited for that. And who knows, maybe I'll take a couple of classes or 2 myself. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you everyone for tuning in today for today's episode, and I'll see y'all next time. Thank you.